It's week 15. I officially hit 6K subscribers. Davis is doing a giveaway today. We're looking at our last best ball advance rate thread. We're going to look at some top scoring teams, some of our favorite teams. We're going to talk all things best ball. We are here. That's the intro. Davis, how you doing, brother?
I am fully all in on playoff best ball now. So I've left the best ball regular season behind. My teams are terrible. Basically, a very funny thing is that Chase Brown is Saquon Barkley for slappies. Like, Chase Brown is on all my advancing teams.
Yeah.
And all that means is that either Slappy Nation is going to do well this week or Boomer Nation is going to do well this week. I foresee almost no scenario where Chase Brown and Barkley are not like the most important players this week, just because of the type of people who drafted them.
Well, I mean, I have a couple things to say there. Number one, playoff best ball, fun, right? Like DraftKings just released a playoff best ball with 500K to
500K to first.
That's effing insane. We've never seen anything like that. So I'm going to have, my videos, my rankings on the site soon for playoff best ball, but I'm not one of these people who it's like playoff best ball's here. Forget about the most important time of the year, which is the fantasy playoffs for the regular season, So like playoff best ball will have its moment in the sun. It'll be all we have, but we got to finish out strong. It only takes one. It is a quality game. I hear you on the Saquon Chase Brown thing. I also think Derrick Henry in just that Ravens game is very impactful, where it's like they're 15.5 point road favorites. Does he score 40? Do they get up, 15 and shut it down in the second half? That game's very impactful. I picked up, I was sitting at 16 teams. I picked up 4 teams thanks to Jamar Chase dropping another 40 burger just for the people there.
I lost 6 teams in a week that Justin Jefferson scored 35. I lost 6 teams. So not great. Not great.
I got 0 Josh Allen teams through in Best Ball Mania.
I also got 0 Mahomes teams through, that's just very classic for you and I's proclivities.
I have Josh Allen elsewhere. I've drafted Josh Allen in like DraftKings and whatnot, but just a funny week 14. And yeah, now we're here for week 15. And it really is a quality game. It's to me, right? So it's like why I generally build hero running back, 0 running back is because you have to start 3 wide receivers each week. And so, these playoff pods, you can get in a playoff pod with a team that has like Saquon and Jamar Chase. And then it's like wide receiver 2 is Michael Wilson. It's wide receiver 3 is like Demarcus Robinson. And it's wide receiver 4 is like Quentin Johnston. And I will take my chance against that team all day long, hoping that I have at least like Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, 3rd running back. But my wide receivers are like AJ Brown, Nico Collins, like Khalil Shakir, like 6 deep, So it is advancing is just a different game. You and I advanced a garbage team together. Like truly.
Oh, our garbage team did advance.
It not only did it advance, it won its pod. It was not making it. And then let me just I'll pull this one up. It has Chase, it has Bucky Irving. Those are 2 players I know. And it has David.
So it just advanced because of Chase.
It's a yes. I mean, it is
Jesus Christ, man.
First in its lobby. It's Burrow and Herbert. It's Kyron, Montgomery, Rico, Bucky Irving, Braylon. So like loaded at running back.
Hey, Leggett. I mean, he dropped a touchdown last week, but
he looks good. We have very small hopes Chris Olave returns. Like honestly, if this team had 1 extra wide receiver, it would be way better. We have small hopes Hollywood Brown returns too. So it's like, but it's Chase, it's Wicks, it's Leggett, it's Yoshi Voss. Like crazier things have happened.
I mean, this team is not going to advance, but GG to us. I guess if Chase gets 40, it could.
Really, it's just like, okay, here's its path. Its path is that McBride goes nuke weeks 15 through 17. We have 3 running backs score 20 points a week. So we have our flex covered. One of our quarterbacks goes nuke. And then we get enough from the wide receivers. And really, week 17, like Yoshi Voss catches 2 touchdowns, Leggett catches 2 touchdowns, like Wicks catches 2 touchdowns. That's the path. But like there will be teams like this, but instead it has like Saquon, Derrick Henry, a bunch of scrubs for its like other running backs because it didn't need anyone else. And then its wide receiver core is like Rashid Shaheed, Jerry Jeudy got in there, so I don't know. But playoff and I, pod luck, guys, it's a feature. It's not a bug, right? And what I mean by that is like every year you get people complaining, "Oh, my team would have made it in a different pod and
Right.
I want cut lines. It's not fair." And it's like, first of all, the rules were known. It is random what pods you get in. You do not want to show up to the finals if you can get lucky enough to get a team to the finals and everyone has the same team except for like 1 or 2 players. That's an awful sweat, right? Like
Yeah.
you want to be the lucky individual to get the only Achane team to week 17. You want to be the lucky guy to get the only Jefferson team to week 17, right? Like the only AJ Brown team. Like, why did I win BBM2? Because Jamar Chase was on 8 teams, out of 160. And Mark Andrews and Cup were like 50% owned. So let's go through the best ball advance rate thread, last one of the year. The first round as a whole, just before we get in the nitty gritty, like it's almost the inverse of last year, where last year, like the second round was just so terrible for like everyone in the third round. And like that's also kind of still true this year. However, really there's been a lot of bad picks in the first round. Some due to injury, a la Puka. Some just because their offense was terrible, Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. And then, Tyreek, Tua, missing games, plus him slowing down some. Lamb, obviously, like I think if Dak didn't get hurt, Lamb would still be a very nutted player to have. He's still good, right? Because he's getting fed.
He's
And then it's
also
just like,
injured. I mean, he's got this shoulder thing. I tell you, the first rounder I would most want to have right now, I think, would be Puka, or
yes.
Jefferson, or
No,
St. Brown.
I would say Puka and AJ Brown are my 2 favorites. And Bijan's schedule, man, is nutted. It's like Raiders, Washington, and I think they get like the Giants too. It's just like Bijan, very low owned too. And it's just like when you have Chase just lap the field, it does funky things where sure, Chase is a great player to have. Clearly the Bengals are not packing it in currently, right? Like that was a concern.
Yeah.
And their Vegas implied total is still very high this week against the Titans. So like Vegas doesn't think they're packing it in. They're 4% to make the playoffs, so it's possible, But no, I think they're trying to get Chase the triple crown too: receptions, yards, touchdowns.
They definitely do want to do that.
And he's currently leading that. And it's all like Chase is just kind of like a fun, right? Because like last year I was like, oh, my 101 would be Chase. And then this year it's like, no, you can't do that, right? Like you got to have CMC at least 2. He's CMC. And it's just like, why did Chase bust last year? Well, he got hurt and Burrow got hurt, right? And then it's like, well, that didn't happen this year. So of course he's smashed. He's Jamar Chase. So it's just so funny how all this stuff is year to year. Are you even optimistic about any Brees Halls or Garrett Wilson's? Garrett Wilson somewhat, but
Wilson, yeah. I mean, the Jets the last 2 weeks have tried way harder than I thought they would.
And their schedule's kind of nice too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how hard they're gonna go in any of, like,
They got Jacksonville this week.
Brees, I think, is going to get shut down. Jeff Ulbrich just said to the media literally this morning, they said, like, oh, the knee's not progressing how they wanted to, not at the point of shutting it down. But if he misses this week, Wilson. I mean, the thing is Wilson actually looks good, which is.
And they get Jacksonville this week.
They get Jacksonville this week. I think Puka and Jefferson. Would be the 2 first rounders I'd most want to have advanced. Now, obviously,
AJ Brown, man, squeaky wheel.
Dude, Hurts is just playing so bad. Hurts is his time to throw is increasing, which might seem good. His time to throw is increasing. He makes poor decisions.
No, he's not risking it. His time to throw is long because he doesn't want to throw interceptions, and he knows that they're a good enough team that if he doesn't turn the ball over, they're just going to win games, right? But they're once for example, if the Lions beat the Bills, maybe the Eagles view it as well, we're not getting the 1 seed, and so they obviously know they can run on people. They've been doing that, but going into the playoffs, you want to make there are going to be games when the Eagles are trailing in the playoffs.
It was the Eagle. It was the same thing last year. The Eagles are going into the playoffs and everyone's just having a bad time. And Hurts's play gets worse as the year progresses. And I don't know. I basically, as someone who kind of needs AJ Brown in various formats, I have some dynasty teams with him and stuff like that. I feel non-optimistic, and I'll tell you, the market. I got AJ Brown with the final pick of a battle royale yesterday.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
My biggest pause on AJ Brown would just be that the Eagles play the Cowboys week 17, and that is a very nutted running game matchup.
That would be the Barkley spot.
Yeah, that seems like a Barkley spot, right? But Amon-Ra also he could definitely go on a run here. He's been a relative disappointment. He's had very random spikes.
He has 1 game with above 20 expected fantasy points the whole year. So it's all been efficiency spikes. Now, I actually think he might go nuts this week. I think that Detroit Buffalo has a great chance to be last week's. I think they're going to do it again.
I scored 250 points in the Millie Maker last week. Didn't matter at all.
I mean, imagine if you had that in a contest. Why do you play the Millie Maker? The 555 Millie Maker or the $20?
Both. It didn't matter.
Even in the 555, it didn't matter.
No, first was 270.
Yeah.
5. The thing about Amon-Ra this week is, it feels like a better Gibbs spot, but obviously, if the Bills force the Lions to pass, that's the dream because teams.
That's like saying it was a better Kyron spot than a Puka spot.
Well, Kyron's not explosive, right? And Gibbs is, and explosive runners have kind of given the Bills more trouble because the Bills' run defense actually they lead the league in tackles for loss, but they also lead the league in explosive run rate. So it's they stop the run, but they'll give up big plays, which is Gibbs music to me. But Amon-Ra too, right? That the Bills Lion games, yeah, that's a very impactful game for week 15. I mean, Chase dude being 51% as a first round pick, will we ever see this again?
See what again?
A first round pick being
with 50%?
Over 50% advance rate.
No, I mean that's the highest advance rate ever. Highest
the absurd.
The two highest advance rates of all time happened this year, Barkley and Chase. I would imagine no chance. I would imagine it's very hard for a guy to get to even 40%. Legendary seasons. That Mostert season I think was 41.6%. It's very hard.
Truly absurd. And let's spitball the first round next year. For me, my top 3, I think, would go some order of Chase, Jefferson, Puka. and then you pick your top running back.
Buddy,
I would
Barkley's
take
gonna be
Puka over Saquon all
Barkley
day.
is going to be the 101.
I think that's, I don't know. I mean, like if you have to take Saquon 101 to get him, a la CMC this year, sure. But like Patrick released this image of the guy who created PBMDB. He
Yeah.
created, like, I've always been a big proponent of like pulling guys up to reach, right? Like that was my first article on the site, right? Like pulling Puka Nacua up. Guess how many times Puka Nacua was taken first overall?
Once or twice.
9.
Yeah.
9 times in the whole contest. 680K entrants. 9 people were like, you know what? I would like my Puka team to correlate with 2-3 turn guys versus 1-2 turn guys, right? To get different combos. That's absurd. That's
So I think
absurdly low.
So I think the argument for that is that once you get to the 580 person final, the uniqueness matters so little.
That's
The
not
uniqueness,
really
the uniqueness will be solved by pod luck, by variance.
well. I mean, I would say 2 things there. Number one, um, if Puka is the nutted guy you have to have, and he's like 80% owned in the finals, and everyone has Puka Gibbs, Puka AJ Brown, Puka, Puka Marvin Harrison, and instead you have Puka 2-3 turn guys. There's your leverage on everyone. Number 2, part of the reason you want a unique combo is for the pod luck, so that when you run it, obviously Puka's not chalk this year, but if he was worth like the 101, which honestly, if he was healthy, he would be. Also because CMC got hurt, which is always in the range. You know, you just have a different combo. And this year's not a great example because this year the second round was not stagnant. It was not like
It was very static the whole time.
it was. No, it was dynamic. It was dynamic, right?
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
yeah. Well, static's the opposite of dynamic.
I was saying it wasn't static.
Oh, wasn't okay. Yeah, because because it's like Nico Collins went from 2-3 to 1-2. Jahmyr Gibbs would even fall sometimes. Chris Olave would be 1-2 sometimes. He'd be 2-3 sometimes. So reaching isn't as valuable when it's so dynamic like that, which is unusual for this year. Anything else you want to say on these first round picks?
Actually surprised Lamb is so high. Truly.
Correlation with Eagles.
He had the one crazy game. The one, like, what did he have? 40 points, the one game. That does a lot.
And he's been like Tyreek good recently. He just scored a touchdown,
He did just score a touchdown, yeah. I just am thinking in my head, like, I believe Jefferson has 80 more points than him. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, I think it's got to just be like, let's pull up.
I was gonna say he's also attached to a lot of Barkley, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the Barkley combos. Unfortunately, we don't have every feature. I think people crash the site. So, but Lamb, Saquon, we got 5,400 combos. Jefferson, Saquon.
It's gonna be way less. Oh,
Not
it's
that
not.
much less.
That's kind of
Honestly.
surprising. Yeah,
Quite surprising.
Yeah,
So,
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, I guess it's just that, like, I mean, Jefferson just hasn't scored enough touchdowns, really, is what it like. This past week was his best game of the season.
Oh, by a lot. Yeah. I believe it was
Yeah.
his first game above 30 points.
And I mean, like, he could have had 2 of those Addison touchdowns, like he could have. You know what's crazy? He has not eclipsed 40 PPR points once, ever. Puka Nacua did that last week in 1.5 years of play.
Windhorst, why is that? Maybe he's not that good.
No, he is one of the most consistent guys, right?
The thing is there's just something about the way the Vikings have always played. They're just not, they don't get themselves into those frenetic games as much for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think
I got a question for you. At the end of the day, would we actually, as me as a Jefferson Slappy, would I actually have preferred McCarthy because they would have been worse as a team? I think with McCarthy playing over Darnold.
You would have preferred Brian Flores never got
Brian
fired from
Flores,
the
yeah,
Dolphins,
yeah, he's the
so
issue.
that they're like really a lesson from this year is like you need to be like if you're being serious about this, you should be grinding the quality of the defense of the offense you like because
I mean,
the,
I got to be honest. I never in a million years for a second consider the Vikings would have the best or second best defense in football. Didn't even
no,
ponder the
I thought they were going to have
possibility.
the worst
I
secondary,
thought,
and their
yeah,
secondary is kind of bad.
but
But
Flores just is the man.
But some examples there, I think, is like we could have known the Chiefs defense was pretty good. We could have known the Lions defense put a lot of resources in. The Eagles defense did too. The Eagles defense secondary was terrible. They drafted 2 guys, and really the passing game's been kind of garbage for them, right? So it's
Yeah.
like good defense, you want the running backs. Same with the Lions. Like their secondary was trash. They drafted a lot of guys. So it's like, yeah, they're gonna hit on some of these high draft picks. Quarterback. So Josh Allen gained, I think, 6%
That's
advance
huge
rate.
for 1 week. That's so big.
Yeah, like I think he was at 12 or something last week. So absolutely absurd. I mean, never seen a 50-point game. And I just knew. I knew it's the second that the Bills were trailing because the Rams don't have like a lockdown defense. I was like, oh, we're gonna get a legendary game here. Hurts.
You did. I gotta hand it to you. You did call it out. You did.
Sometimes
So shout out to you. Do you think my read is that it's going to be a sequel this week versus the Lions. Do you believe that or not believe that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, right? Because the Lions defense is better than the Rams defense overall.
Oh, sure. They don't generate any pressure though.
Well, they are kind of generating pressure, just like they're sending a lot of guys to do it. And the Lions, like, yeah, I hope we get another legendary game. And the Lions can score more explosively than the Rams, so we could get an even better game. And it's like if the Bills can get back Keon and Kincaid, because like what's really insane is Josh Allen did this with like the ghost of Amari Cooper, Ty Johnson, Mac Hollins, right?
People
Like
are saying it's not a coincidence that they look their best when Kincaid's off the field. People are saying
well,
it's not
the haters will
Liam.
say what they want, right? Like
they will, and I'll continue to do it.
yeah, I mean, very brave of you. He's missed what a
Liam,
month of play now.
the people are actually loving it because I've been jamming Kincaid in the playoff drafts. They've been loving
He's a good pick.
every time I take them. They're like, you're doing it for Liam.
No, it's but it's like Amari Cooper, like he got 14 targets this past week. He's not even like he's good, but he's not what he once was or anything close, right? So if the Bills can get some like legit weapons there, and Khalil Shakir, man, you got to give him his flowers, dude, right? Like that touchdown he scored, shot out of an effing cannon. Mahomes lost no advance rate. What that tells me is that Mahomes teams that are advancing, they were so good that like there's nothing to do that that you could lose there. Lamar lost 3%.
Allen
on his
teams
bye.
knocked him out.
Yeah, so it's really the Allen scoring. Richardson, man, like they got an appealing schedule.
I wrote this yesterday on my Patreon. I think Richardson is really potentially kind of the guy you would want, the skeleton key, and he got dropped in a lot of leagues, like home leagues. I picked Anthony Richardson up in like my home league style leagues. No one wants him. They are done rushing Jonathan Taylor in the red zone. They're just like, Anthony, this is the one thing you can do. You're a big man. Let's get it. Like because I was thinking about this. I'm like, oh, I think the Cowboys at some point have to start Trey Lance, which maybe they don't because Cooper Rush has been kind of fine.
They're not doing that, dude. We're never seeing Trey Lance.
But then I was thinking in my head, like, Well, Trey Lance is going to run as much as Anthony Richardson. I mean, he probably would be a little bit better for fantasy than Richardson, but not much better.
Trey Lance would get you like 15 points, right? Like I like truly don't think he can score 30 unless he scores like 3 rushing touchdowns.
No, dude, you're definitely wrong about this, but it's a moot point because we are
So
not.
bad that he is not even playing with Dak out.
It's
Like,
just
come on.
it's the style of football he plays. He like,
No,
dude, in preseason, he had 2 games above 35 fantasy points.
it's
It's
very
just
brave of him to do that against accountants and, salesmen.
I'm just telling you, dude, he would run like 14 times a game.
Yeah, and he'd get like 60 yards, and you'd really like rushing his floor generally, right? Like
Generally.
he's not an explosive runner. Like a lot would need to align for him to hit a big score. Whatever. Trey Lance, not topic of discussion. Stroud, I would say the best thing about Stroud is they get the Ravens week 17.
Would you rather have Stroud and Tank or Mahomes and Worthy?
Just because of week 17 matchup,
Yeah,
Stroud and Tank.
Stroud. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Although the Steelers are out here scoring points now.
Equal opponent, probably Mahomes and Worthy, right? Like, hard to say there. I got a lot of Tank getting through, which feels kind of nice post bye, Kyler is another guy who he's been kind of garbage, but very nice schedule here. They have the Patriots, they have the Panthers, and they end with the Rams, which is his best game on the season. So could definitely see a low-owned Kyler making his mark on this best ball playoff season.
I like him. One of the teams I advanced has him, and I think he is a very useful.
Yeah, he feels great.
Useful piece because he
Low
could just
advance rate.
he could just show up with the 32-point game in week 16.
Absolutely.
Where now obviously he sucks at throwing the ball,
But
but
he's not running either right now.
He's not running either. But I think we often see this. I mean, you say this all the time with Josh Allen. These running quarterbacks or these mobile quarterbacks who don't think of themselves as running quarterbacks, they don't turn the dial up to 11 on the rushing until their back is against the wall. Their back. I mean, I think they basically have to win out to ensure they make the playoffs.
And the Rams game could be a very important game.
Rams game could just be the winner. The winner gets in. The winner wins the division, depending on what Seattle does.
Yeah, like the Cardinals. I mean, the Rams are like 30% to make it. Seattle's like 55. Cardinals are much lower, but you can almost assume wins against the Patriots and the Panthers. Definitely not locks, but so that Rams game, they'll probably be live still. Love is also like any of these like nice guys who are below advance rate feel pretty good to me. Love feels good to me just because Vikings still they're worse against the pass than against the run. Could be a big division game for them. Like the Packers have been getting blown up by the Lions and Vikings, so like they're gonna want to feel good going into the playoffs. Could see Love again making his mark week 17. Burrow is doing insane things to the rest of the field, being 40% advance rate.
Crazy.
Just like absurd stuff. Obviously, correlation with Chase, correlation with Chase Brown, correlation with Nix and Sutton as well. Like some nice correlation there.
Dude, that's actually such a hidden thing. We saw this a ton last year with with the Texans. Like the Titans pieces got pulled up because the Texans pieces were so smash. But like if you drafted a Burrow, like a Chase Burrow Sutton team is like the nuts. Just like the nuts right there. Yeah.
Burrow was definitely like he was my favorite quarterback at price in the offseason. I was like, this is absurd that Burrow's underpriced. Like, look, he averaged 23 fantasy points this last healthy season. And I still don't feel like I got enough. And like, why? It's because, okay, having a king advance rate guy is nice, but it's like, it's just hard to go all in on a quarterback, even if you think they're kind of underpriced, because what if they're not the guy week 17? Then you don't win, right? And it's like, And against the Broncos, I don't know. So I'll always vary my quarterbacks. I think it's just kind of smart to do that.
I'll say I think the lesson people are going to learn from this Burrow thing is actually the wrong lesson, because the lesson of when it goes wrong is being evidenced by CJ Stroud and Mahomes. These
And
guys,
Dak.
and
Dak.
well, Dak,
Dak got hurt.
I guess well, I'm just saying Dak when he was younger did used to run for some, but the lesson I'm saying is you just do not want to be all in on a quarterback who has to throw for 5,000 yards to be a smash.
Well, cost, like
Cost
going all in a
adjusted.
Burrow, like if Burrow was doing Mahomes and Stroud things at his cost, he
still
would have
be
been
fine.
fine. He'd be
still be
fine, right?
fine.
That's like Jordan Love, right?
Where
Like
do you think Mahomes goes next year?
5th or 6th.
Fuck. Okay, that'll be fine. I just like, dude, if he's an 8th round pick, I'm not gonna
It's
be
not
able to
going to
help
be an 8th
myself.
round. It really, like, all of these things depends where the other guys go, right? Like if the mark is just like Lamar's a 2nd round pick and Josh is a 3rd and Hurts is a 3rd, then Mahomes will like lag them by a round or 2, because it's like people like,
He's just been
like,
so bad,
I
so bad
know,
for
I
fantasy.
know. And it will depend on a lot, like, if they, whatever, draft some superstar, sign a free agent
They
superstar.
won't. The best. They for sure. They're too weak. Their offensive line is too bad. I mean, maybe they are able to add a wide receiver via trade. Maybe Tyreek comes back.
Let's go. Josh Downs practicing.
There you go. Josh Downs.
Jaden Daniels, I want to talk about because for years now, we've all been chasing the Fields, Lance, like we've been chasing these rushing quarterbacks, and Jaden Daniels is what we are chasing as a hit at a pretty cheap price.
For sure.
And now he's definitely, like, if Joe Burrow did not exist, his advance rate would be much higher, it'd be 30%. But
if Baker didn't exist.
And Baker didn't as well. But it's just kind of interesting that despite him being what we wanted, he's still like, okay, 20%, and he had the hurt ribs. He had some down games because of that, but he's a very nice guy to have. He gets New Orleans, he gets Atlanta's terrible defense week 17. That game could definitely be a shootout. But it's just kind of interesting. It's like he's not windmilling, he's not like 40% over here.
No, which, I mean, he was injured. So you have the one game where he got 5 points or whatever. Then he didn't run for like 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
He's back to running now. Very high correlation with his wide receiver 1 who smashed. McLaurin smashed for fantasy.
And everyone else was terrible because no one drafted Ertz, right? Brian Robinson was good too, but people barely drafted Ertz, I think. And then Luke McCaffrey, awful. Jahan Dotson got traded, awful, right? Like no one was drafting Noah Brown with the idea that he would be a commander. And aside from Darnell Mooney, the Falcons have disappointed. So from advance rate points. So Bijan.
Oh, that's a good point. That Kyle Pitts, Jaden Daniels, Luke McCaffrey stack that you dreamed up.
Yeah. See you later. See you later. Dude, can we get a post buy rookie bump for Luke McCaffrey here? Like,
he's been playing is the issue. The post buy bump is normally a playing time thing. I mean, he ran 70% of the routes in week 1. Luke McCaffrey did.
Well, sometimes it's like a usage thing too, because we saw that for I'm blanking on like one of them got like a big bump post buy.
Marvin Harrison Jr. got a small one. Worthy got a big one. Worthy had 36% of the targets the first game after the bye. Didn't do shit with them, but
there you go. Bucky Irving got a big.
Bucky Irving.
He got a big, like, he was the lead guy post buy, and then he got hurt, and now it's like,
McMillan got a big one.
Caleb, dude, like, Dude, what
That's
was the past
honestly
game?
of my losses this year are the things I got wrong are just like so varied. It's hard to keep track of all of them. That was one of the big ones of just being like Caleb. He's coming into this crazy good situation. He's got Moore. He's got Rome. He's got Keenan, and those guys have actually all kind of individually been fine. Moore
No,
and Keenan.
no,
Well,
Rome's
Rome
been
is not.
garbage.
Rome's been garbage.
Moore's been pretty bad too, aside from a couple games, and Keenan has been terrible aside from a couple games.
I guess I don't know. I guess I value the spike week so highly, and they've all had
Yeah, but like
huge
Moore
spikes.
has provided spike weeks a la like a 6th-round pick, not like a 2nd or 3rd-round pick. He's not like he
Yeah,
could have a
yeah.
big spike, but he's not been like, oh yes, this is a 3rd-round pick. He's been like
I
Debo
guess
Samuel
honestly, I was
Waddle.
gonna say, well, no, do not put him in the same. Debo has 0 spikes. Not the same category, not at all. You're right though. You're right. His floor has been lower than I thought. I feel right about DJ Moore. He's one of my highest exposure players. He's awesome. He's like so fucking good. That of all the clicks I
He's been
made, that
moody, dude. He's been a little like like pouting on the sidelines at times. I
wouldn't you?
I I got really into him. I got really into Caleb after some of the preseason. Like if I didn't have Twitter and didn't watch preseason, I would have done better just because I was like previously I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take Daniels over Caleb, pretty mixed, Purdy as well. And then I was like, no, come on, generational quarterback, awesome wide receiver core, let's go. I got one Rome team in out of like 20. Like maybe he becomes something down the stretch. He
I
just
think I
got.
did. I think I did advance a Caleb DJ Moore team.
I have a lot of DJ Moore in the DK Millie because he was going as like a 4th-round pick there towards the end of the season.
I advanced 4 DJ Moore teams, which is sort of interesting because he was not a very good pick. So I wonder how I did that.
But you took a lot of them. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Purdy, like
Man, if Purdy didn't get hurt, he'd be like if the 49ers were in it and Purdy didn't get hurt, he would maybe be my pick of what I'd most want.
He was like I was just so convinced on their playoff schedule. Rams, Dolphins, Lions. So that's why I have a ton of Purdy. And like I have like a naked Purdy team, which like weirdly is almost preferable because not many people have Juwan Jennings, and he's like the second coming of Jerry Rice. And then
the
like
first
Kittle,
Jerry Rice, he's gonna be better than Jerry Rice.
Yeah, Kittle, very nice to have. I do think Isaac Guerrero returns. I don't know about this week, but I do think he returns next week. But yeah, he's this Rams game Thursday night could be interesting, and like if Puka goes off, it's not even going to kill people because he's not going to be in every pod.
Not going to be in every pod, just
Not
like Amari Cooper and George Pickens. They were whole ass pods without them last year.
Yeah, they crushed me, but
the Debo tweet, man, the fucking Debo tweet,
dude. Did you see the community notes on it?
I thought that was fake. I thought that was like photoshopped. I'm pretty sure that's photoshopped.
I just assumed it was real. People liked me responding to you, saying that you did like the death or whatever, like the knife speaks kindly, keep your enemy close. And I responded to you that's for elite wide receivers.
That's for good players. That is very funny. Debo used to be a good player, man.
I have a Purdy Debo team that's like, dude, give us 1 week, man. Squeaky wheel. Rams.
If you're gonna give it a week, do this week. Are the 49ers dead for the playoffs?
No, they are like
Bengals.
No, they're a little bit better than that, but like pretty poor. And like their schedule's so tough, right? They got to beat the Lions, they got to beat the Rams. Even the Dolphins are looking, like equal to them. Like I want to pretend that they're gonna like be huge favorites there. But they could go on a run. 8% is what people are saying. Other people are saying 5%. So, anything else you want to say on these quarterbacks?
No, I just do need to reiterate, I'm a fucking moron for not being on Baker. Just like a true idiot. Like I love Baker. I've been one of Baker's biggest supporters for a long time. The thing was I didn't like Evans' price and I didn't like Godwin's price, and I wasn't a Kate Otten guy either.
I
So
got
that just
lucky
left.
with Evans that Chris Godwin got hurt.
I liked more than Evans, which is obviously
I
I,
I started on Evans and then I changed that to Moore and like Metcalf later in the year. And like I think like I kind of did like the Bucks because I was like, okay, that was a lesson from last year. Was like these quarterbacks that are good enough,
yep.
Geno, Mayfield, like that can throw for 4,000 to 5,000 yards and they're cheap, like they're very undervalued. But I didn't. I think that the lesson there is like when you like an offense like that, take everyone. Don't just choose Mike Evans. Don't just choose Rashad White, who I did. Don't just choose Chris Godwin. Make sure you also get Bucky. Make sure you also get Kate Otten, right? Make sure you definitely get their quarterback as well, which I didn't. Question for you. Lamar, very nutted week 17 matchup in my mind against the Texans. He's going to be chalk in the finals almost no matter what.
Yeah.
Would you prefer Lamar or would you prefer a lower owned Hurts or Allen?
I think if I could choose right now, I'm taking Richardson. I got a feeling in the plums, dude. I got a feeling that he's gonna run for like 4 touchdowns in one of these games.
He could. I I think I would take the ownership discount on Allen and Hurts, and Lamar's not been running as much this year. He's been more of his fantasy production has been passing.
Until week 13, he led the NFL in passing yards. You ever thought that'd be a sentence you'd say?
No, I did not. Honestly,
Insane.
crazy. Yeah. What round is Lamar going next year?
Early, yeah, 2-3 turn.
I think third. Yeah,
yeah,
third round.
It'll depend on what they do with Bateman, Deontay Johnson. Like if they take
Deontay Johnson does not matter, dude.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like it depends on if like, oh, do they pick up Bateman's option? Do they not pick up Bateman's option? Do they sign who like is it run back a bunch of dusty shitheads as their wide receiver 2 like they do every single year? Or do they draft, I don't know, a wide receiver in the 3rd round that everyone kind of likes? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a bit like everyone kind of liked Devontae Walker. He played at UNC. He's like fun. We all liked him. But then you do like the 3rd round version of that. That makes people more amped.
For me, the biggest thing will be how much do they invest in their defense? Because if the Ravens historically the Ravens have just had good defenses. And if they have good defenses, Lamar's not going to be throwing, so I think people could like learn their long lessons. He's going like they're going to really improve their defense, and then people are going to be like, "What? Lamar's not like killing fantasy anymore." Because if you remember, for 2 years running, he was pretty much a better and best ball quarterback, where his floor regularly was like 10 to 15 points, but he would have an occasional spike when they had to score a lot. So I don't know. I'm going to be monitoring their defense improvements. Tight end. Some interesting stuff here. Like Trey McBride, just an average guy despite being an absolute smash.
Can't score any touchdowns.
No touchdowns is why.
Correlated to a bunch of idiots. Correlated to like a bunch of guys who got hurt, bunch of guys who stunk.
Yeah. Kincaid somehow not the lowest advance rate just because of correlation with Allen.
Yeah.
Pitts, terrible. Ingram, not good. Ferguson.
Dude, so funny.
Time too.
Pitts is like, we don't even talk about Pitts anymore. Like Pitts,
6
like
targets last week.
Pitts is apparently the chat is telling me that Bateman already signed an extension. So my bad, guys. My bad for missing the Bateman extension. Anyway, like Pitts is gonna be like a 14th round pick next year. Like it's over, man. He's Noah Fant now.
Yeah, he'll be in that range. Wild, man. Like I have to believe that injuries is part of what happened here. Like he got zapped and he didn't quite heal correctly, right? Like, or was he just that big of a miss to you?
So I think injuries matter. Injuries zapped him of some of his speed, but the big issue was that his position doesn't really exist in the NFL. He's not quick enough and agile enough to do what Bowers does, to just
Or
get
strong enough.
those,
Yeah, he's just not. You're right.
just
He's
like
like a
those, like the classic Bowers play is kind of like a 7-yard reception where he makes the safety miss and then gets 5 more yards or something. Pitts can't really do. He's a position that doesn't really exist anymore, which is like the seam route tight end. Like actually how Andrews used to crush. Like the quintessential Andrews play used to be 13 yards up the seam, right over the safety, pop it in, go score a touchdown. That's not really what Andrews is anymore. His eight
yeah,
eyes.
he's not
His eight.
physical at the catch point either to like be this
No,
jump ball guy. He's
no,
just like I don't he's kind of Eric Ebron-y.
well, Ebron was a good blocker though. Pitts
Well,
isn't even a good blocker. Pitts
um,
is like, what he is? He's like a slower, taller DeMarcus Robinson.
OJ Howard-ish.
OJ, great comp, Liam. Yeah, very OJ Howard-ish.
Kelsey would still feel like a nice piece to me.
You'd really, my read on the Chiefs and the rest of the season is you really want to have Kelsey.
Well, the thing about him, man, is the only way he gets there to me is 3 goal line / red zone touchdowns because he has no juice,
no yak,
no.
None.
He is Zach Ertz now. He is Zach Ertz.
He is. He's top 5 in open score, bottom 5 in yak score.
Yeah, he is no bueno there. Laporta. Yeah, I mean, guys, the lesson here
I would not want to have Laporta.
No, and the lesson here is twofold. Number 1, defensive improvement. Number 2, I guess threefold. Number 2, when you are a clear negative regression candidate for touchdown scored, you're generally going to be overvalued by the market. Number 3, when you have like Jameson Williams, like when you just have like a really talented guy who could put it together.
The 12th overall pick.
Yeah,
right? Wasn't that the 12th?
I think he was higher, man. I think he went like 7th or something. Like,
no, they traded up for him. I want to say, well, Gibbs was the 12th, so it wasn't the 12th, but it was they traded up for him.
I think he went like 8 or
and then
8 or
actually
7, yeah.
The other difference that people are not even talking about is that David Montgomery is a much bigger part of the passing game this year as well.
No, yeah, just like which ties into the defense, right? Like they're a good smash mouth running team. But still kind of a crazy fall from grace. Andrews feeling like a solid piece to have, like he's very touchdown dependent.
Oh man, you'd really want to have Andrews, right? Because in half PPR, I mean, he's like super.
If he's going to score a touchdown every week, I want him. If he's not, I don't. Like that's what it is at tight end.
Well, other thing is that the Ravens are in a spot to like every game is a must win for them the rest of the way, which is pretty big for him. They can't take it easy in any of these games.
Well, they're locked into the playoffs. Like,
if they can miss, I think they only have 8 wins.
The AFC playoffs is essentially locked. Like everyone is like 90% plus, except the Broncos are like 75%. And the Colts are 24%. So the Colts need to catch the Ravens, which is like, come on, that's not happening. Like the Ravens could probably just win 1 game and still make the playoffs.
All right. Well,
I think they want to win games, right? But like, I don't know. Kincaid, please just return, man. Like, let's at least see you on the field. Pitts.
I would not want to have Kyle Pitts.
I have a Pitts team. It's like, dude, come on now. Just fall in the end zone. Yeah. He got 6 targets, 1 catch, 5 yards. Kittle feels very nice to have still. Like, really nice, I think. Ingram
doesn't. Would not want to have Evan Ingram.
No. Ferguson, he's whatever, man.
Yeah. And
without
hot take, I wouldn't even really want Bowers at this point either. Because
no, I think you do. I think
I would probably rather have Njoku right now.
I'd rather have McBride.
I would not rather have McBride.
I'd rather have McBride because of the ownership difference. But my favorite thing about Bowers is he gets the Saints week 17, and they have been absolutely eviscerated over the middle of the field. And like that is like a classic Bowers spot to me. Where like there was a lot of chatter this week about the Bucks being like, we're gonna key in on Bowers, and I guess they did that. I don't know why other teams can't do that, but
Yeah,
they
it's like,
did.
are you so worried about
Trey Tucker.
Trey Turner? Yeah, Trey Tucker.
Njoku definitely feels like a really nice guy to have. And then Dallas Goedert is on IR, so that stinks. I do think Ferguson would be much better if Dak didn't go down, but he did, and Ferguson was a risky pick in that we all knew he was a Jag. I took him a lot just being like, well, he's like the Cowboys' second guy. But, you don't want the Cowboys' second guy without Dak. And now he might not even be that.
I have like none of him. Not that I'm good at drafting, but I didn't have any of him.
Well, yeah, the Slappy community was all like, oh, why would we take Ferguson when we have Bowers, which worked, but,
Slappy's got one, man. You got to hand it to us, Slappies. We got one.
Bowers would have been a better pick than Ferguson no matter what. However, Dak, if Dak was there, Ferguson could still have scored like 40 points in a playoff week and absolutely punish people. That seems far less likely now. And him missing a game with a concussion like knocked me out of a high stakes team. Killer.
Damn, I hate that for you. That sucks.
Anything else you want to say on the tight ends?
I mean, what is Tucker Kraft's advance rate? Feels like he was kind of the secret key.
Well, let's look at some of the late round guys, I guess. Jonnu absolutely feels like a smash, 26%. Cade Otton feels very nice. He's not as good with Mike Evans back, but he's still very nice, 24%. Kraft was not drafted at 100%. 21% for him. He feels great. He's like legit one of the best tight ends in the league, obviously. Who are the other late round smashes? I'm missing one, I think.
I don't know. It's like 2024 fantasy points at tight end.
Jonnu, and Kraft.
Man,
I'd say Likely is nice to have too.
Likely's nice to have. Yeah. It's Underdog didn't even know they saved us from Taysom Hill. I would have had like 27% of him.
Yeah, but you would have advanced a lot more.
I honestly don't.
I don't think Hawkinson feels that nice to me.
I think Hawkinson feels pretty nice.
I don't, but he feels okay, but he feels pretty like Jake Ferguson to me right now. Jonnu, we pulled up already 26%. Jonnu is carrying a ton of my high stakes teams. Like I got like tight end rooms of like Greg Dulcich, Jonnu Smith, and I don't know. Kraft would have been drafted a lot more if he didn't have the pec injury.
Yes, he would have.
Yeah.
I had Kraft was my most drafted tight end in the big board until
this guy Henry has a pulse, but he's not like these other dudes. Come on.
Yeah, he's fine. Wouldn't say I'm like over my. Yeah.
Juwan is like Hunter Henry-esque. No, like the nice ones to have are Likely that are cheap. Hawkinson's cheap enough that he feels nice. Yes. And then Kraft, not always drafted. Cade Otton, Jonnu. Jonnu wasn't always drafted either.
Jonnu was not always drafted, which is kind of funny.
Please, Jonnu.
Yeah, I think I haven't looked. I haven't started looking at my DraftKings teams, but I assume that Taysom is on every single one of them.
So I peeped mine last night. Dulcich, almost positive advance rate. Please, can we get Dulcich on the field? Doesn't seem likely, but
they did who the guy Bellinger, Ten Ras Bellinger, man.
Yeah. Okay, these are our three favorite teams. These are Davis's.
To be clear, none of my teams are any good, so I just grabbed three at random. They all suck. I don't have one good team. I looked. They're all bad.
I asked Davis to send me his three favorite, and he sent.
Well, this one just has Barkley.
I mean, Drake May. He's got a pretty nice schedule.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I want to have Drake May getting through because I think he will be unique.
Well, and he gets the Cardinals. You could definitely score 30 this week. Saquon, Montgomery, Chase Brown. is Will Levis, how hurt is he? I know he hurt his shoulder.
He came back in the game. He should be fine.
Okay. Saquon Montgomery, Chase Brown feels nice. Jalen Wright, you got small outs there. J.K. Dobbins might return week 17. Blake Corum is playing more. Like, you just need him to get
Well,
the
it was
goal line
more
touchdown.
just that Barkley, Montgomery, Brown, and
Yeah,
then
no, obviously. But I'm
Lamb,
talking about the whole
unique
team.
piece. Neighbors, relatively unique piece. Worthy, Cooper, JSN, and then the Bowers.
Sean Payton said something about Marvin Mims being like, why didn't I try him at running back sooner?
I know.
So, who knows? And hey, Chig got a game. This team is a Josh Allen Knicks team. Nice combo. Mixon, Najee, Javonte, Chase Brown. Everyone's got a pulse here. Like Javonte, you're closest to a 0 there. And Ray Davis obviously is not consistent. Garrett Wilson, hard to advance. Drake London, Tank Dell. Tank Dell, dude. Let's see what the advance rate settled on. I'm guessing
Gotta be like none.
sub 8%. 6.9%. Nice. How many did I get? I got a couple tank in. 4. Worthy, Khalil Shakir, and Samuel.
That was why I like this one. Was the Allen Shakir Knox, because I think this game this week is gonna go nuts.
Well, I think it's just a really nice team where it's like you got, at minimum 3 solid running backs.
Yeah.
You got 2 good quarterbacks. You have definitely 2 solid tight ends, especially with George Pickens' health questions. And then Knox is just like you hope he falls in the end zone. And then your wide receiver room is like solid, right? Like your wide receiver room is not.
You just need a random spike. You just need one of the guys who sucked has to have like a random spike.
Well, you need Worthy to have a game one of these weeks. Or Dell. And then you need like Wilson or London. And then like Shakir. I like Shakir's gonna hit your lineup. So it's just like, what do the rest do? I like that team a lot. Kyler and Jaden Daniels, very nice.
This was the one that I was like, man, this one could be. So it's got Kyler as like the naked runner. It's got McLaurin and Daniels as the chalk pieces. It has Bijan, which is like a pretty unique advancing piece because this team doesn't have Chase. And it's got Dowdle. Dowdle and Brown, by the way, are like, that's like the slappy savior. Like if you got Dowdle and Brown in together, that as if you're an idiot like me who drafted idiot teams, Dowdle and Brown saved a bunch of your teams. Then Cup is a pretty unique piece. Hopkins, I think, is a low advance rate guy that I like. And people are definitely going to laugh at this, but like Wicks can get 30 in any game. His targets per route run have been strong. They just have
5 for 49 this past week. He can definitely like 30 seems less like yeah, can he? Yes, obviously, but like you could very realistically see a 6 for 100 in a touchdown game.
Yeah. And then it got Bowers through, which is like, well, you just feel good about like maybe you're not going to be that enthused about Bowers in week 17 if he ends up being
no, you will, dude. That matchup is very nice. Like
yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
He's going to project for like 15 half-point
exactly. Yes. Yeah, he's awesome. So this was the one team of all my shit that I looked through and I was like, well, we could get there. Actually, both of my big dog teams, Liam, are sick. Both of my big.
Send me those too. We can pull them up.
Well, let's do the drawing. Let's do the drawing right now.
Well, let me get through my teams and then we'll get there. What I like about this team is it's deep at wide receiver. It's got 3 running backs, and ETN is in there. It's deep at quarterback. It's not deep at tight end, but it has Bowers. My top 3 that I pulled are. This team is awesome, but it says Puka Nacua. This was drafted the day the schedule released. Jaden Daniels and Stafford.
We've looked at this team a couple times. This team is sick.
Yeah, this team really rooting for this one. JT, Chase Brown, Ford, Rico, Chuba. Chuba now is just like a very nutted guy to have with Brooks hurt and his schedule being so nice. Puka, Devonta Smith also low owned. Like the trio of Puka, JT, and Devonta Smith has got to be extraordinarily low advance rate, where Jonathan Taylor's been an abject disaster of a pick this year, but he is very solid. 7.5% 12 other teams made the playoffs. Skin defer. Is this Adam Levitan?
I would bet not. I would bet it's not.
4 tight end, probably not.
Just like the Evan Silva guy on Underdog is not Evan Silva.
Yeah. So yeah, deep at wideout, Puka, Devonta, Terry, Calvin, Brian Thomas, Watson. Demarcus Robinson, I don't know how hurt he is. And it's got Trey McBride and Jonnu. Post by rookie bump, Ben Sinnott, one time.
He's not even the second tight end on the team.
Dude, I know. I know. This team is a Hurts and Purdy team. Purdy feels pretty nice. It's deep at running back. Cook.
If you had Jennings on this team, I'd buy it for $100.
You have to realize that $100 is the actual equity of the team. Like that is the EV of the team. So you were just saying you would buy it for face value. Like you would like $500 would be 5x the equity.
I'm very certain that's wrong.
Okay, well go into your DK app because DraftKings shows you the EV of your teams. The
Correct.
EV of a $10 Millie Maker is $112. This is a $25 contest. So the EV of each advancing team is probably something like $170. So,
all right, I would if this team had
like 5x,
Jennings,
you know, like
if this team had Juwan
$1,000
Jennings, I'd pay $237 for it, Liam.
So you'd pay like 50% more than the raw EV of the team.
Yes.
Cook, Kamara, Pollard, Bucky Irving to be determined. I don't think he plays this week, but maybe following weeks. AJ Brown, squeaky wheel. Nico and Tank, nuts. Rome, my only Rome team. Hopkins and Shakir, so deep at wideout. And then Jonnu and likely Benson post by rookie bump. And then the last team was my highest scoring team. I put one with Bucky and one with Rachaad White. This one's deep at running back, deep at quarterback, Burrow and Purdy. Cook, White, Kamara, Swift, ETN. I mean, dude, Kamara could definitely give us the blade against the Raiders week 17. Like
it could go either way, man. Because Kamara is like such an interesting guy in DFS every single week, where it's like he projects for 1 billion points, but he never gets 1 billion points. The efficiency concerns that led for me not being that in on him are kind of repeating themselves, where like he is average EV is 150, not counting rake.
Yeah. The EV, for anyone confused how to calculate it, you just add up the prize pool, you divide it by the advancing teams.
Yep.
Deep at wideout, Chase, Debo, Mike, Judy, Josh Downs, please play. Andre Yoshivas, Luke McCaffrey, post by rookie bump. You heard it here first. Trey Tucker. So it's got like a bunch of live dudes, right? Jerry Judy looking really nice. And then tight end is like, it's not strong, but it's like, this is Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki-ish, you know? We won with that. And Cleve Raymond out for the year. ETN, dude, one time.
I believe he's actually not out for the year.
Who?
Cleve Raymond. They said he's going to come back.
He's on IR though, so he's out for the fantasy playoffs, right?
4 weeks. I think he could be back for week 17 theoretically.
Oh, I thought it was week. Okay, so maybe he returned. I mean, but Tim Patrick, look, they just scored 2 touchdowns.
Sure.
So yeah, this I don't know, dude. Kamara was getting fed even with the backup quarterback. So it's like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying that Alvin Kamara is a guy you would not want to have.
I would love a Kamara Bowers team. I don't have that, but I would like that. We're gonna I have some couple more things to talk about, but we're gonna let Davis do his drawing for his site now. Davis, take it away.
All right, boys. This is it. This is the drawing. Whatever teams I advanced, I don't even know how many I advanced. Not very many. I advanced in Best Ball Mania 5. 11 teams, 7.3% of my entries advanced.
Only takes one.
It only takes one. You will be winning. I can't look at how close a bunch of those were.
Dude,
you
I have
will
like
be winning
4 Nico teams within 5 points. Kills me.
5% of the equity of this. So how did you enter this contest? You left a comment on any of my YouTube videos. My good friend Bollock, as in parabolic, rounded up all the comments. Then Kevin Hamilton, who did this for Mr. Overzet, basically took all the comments. One comment equals one entry into this. I have not clicked the start drawing button. I have no idea what is about to happen. No, Best Ball Mania only. But
Guys, what if I win? Is people going to start chanting rigged?
people are. We're gonna start it separating entries into 50 groups.
Chesley,
Here's
baby.
the wheel. We're gonna spin a wheel to see which of the 50 groups makes it into the final round. So I guess they're all in buckets. Group 26 is the winning group. Move on to the final round. Now we will spin, and we're about to find out who wins. Justin Rao, 6355 is the winner.
Justin, show yourself.
Justin, I'm gonna guess random sampling. He's probably not here. Although I do remember his comments. So shout out to Justin Rao, 63555. You now have the ability to win the saddest prize in the history of best ball fantasy football.
Is it only if you reach the finals, or are you paying out?
Well, it's
5% of min catches.
Famously, you had to read the terms and conditions under the tweet, which is basically that it's oh wow, born someone
Googling this guy already.
Well, no, I'm sure they just checked his YouTube. What I will say is I'll give this guy a week to get in contact with me. Let's do a backup. Let's do a backup.
Is that in your terms and conditions, dude? You don't want to open yourself up.
It is that the backup. All right. We'll do a backup spin. How do I do it?
Backup. Let's go.
Start drawing.
So it's only if you reach the finals, right?
Correct. Yeah, because it's anything. Yes, previous YouTube comments count, but it's only in literal comments, not live commentary. So it's comments under the YouTube video. All right, here we go. The secondary winner, if Mr. Justin Rao, Big Driggs, 546. Those are the two winners. There you go. We did it.
Let's do a third backup. Come on now.
I think we're good. I think we're good. I think Mr. Rao can come and get his what do you think the EV of that is worth? I mean, probably like $2 or something. 5% of a bunch of 11 shitty teams.
You know, Davis, memories are priceless, man. How often do you get your name called up on this channel?
You know what? That's true. The Davis Matic BBM5 giveaway drawing winner is Justin Rao, 63555. And if he doesn't get in touch with me, all right, guys, we'll do one more. No, you know what? No,
we knew we could get him. We knew we could get him.
We're done. The Purdy one is a good bit.
Come on. Give us one more roll here.
All right, we'll do one more.
Third backup.
Well, hold on.
You gotta have 3, man. Like, some people are gonna be checked out for Christmas and stuff. You know, like, they're not gonna be checking random notifications.
You're right. Let me refresh, and we will do one more. I was really hoping it was like Peter Overs at Daily Rojo, Chess Liam. All right, here we go. The third backup is Paul IV6 VB. There we go. Done. Dusted. Justin, get in contact with me. My email is davismatic@gmail.com. You can tweet at me. You can comment. There we go. We did it.
Congrats to Justin, Big Riggs, and Brock Purdy.
11 rerolls for 11 teams. Let's Liam, let's look at some of our high stakes teams that advanced.
Okay, real quick. I made a list of
I think this is better content than random spike weeks receivers that could make dreams come true for the best ball player.
I'm curious what you thought here. Pull up your high stakes. All right, I'll pull up some too.
No, but go back to your tweet. There, I'm missing a joke from people are saying I'm missing a joke.
Well, now I gotta pull it up.
Is Xavier Worthy on there, or is Demarcus Robinson on there?
You know, if I was a hater, I would put Marvin Harrison Jr. in there, but I didn't. No, I didn't put any jokes in there, I don't think.
Aaron, next time I will DM you for actually enforceable legal language.
I just made this list because every year we have a Zay Jones, a KJ Osborne, some people had some good ones. Bateman was one I missed. Demarcus Robinson's not random, man. He leads the Rams in red zone targets. Like that's inevitable. That's not random. No, just a gross list of guys that could make the mark. And then question for you, Davis. Name the quarterback, running back, wideout, and tight end on the winning team. Of course, I did one of my teams. Jaden, Chase, Puka, Trey.
Brock Purdy, Chase Brown.
Kendrick Bourne's a good one.
Cortland Sutton. Jonnu Smith.
Okay. I think John is a good call. So yeah, I pulled through
KJ Osborne.
20. KJ Osborne got cut, man.
That's what
Could
I'm
be
saying,
on the winners,
bro.
though.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. This team I think is actually good, actually live to win this. So this one is okay. This one has Najee and Rico with Burrow.
Your running back room's toast, man. It's Najee and Rico.
Najee and Rico are fine. I like the Chase, JSN, Leggett, all the wide receivers alive. It's got Mark Andrews and Jonnu. That one I feel pretty good about. I believe I remember looking at this one's better. Yeah, this one has the slappy triumvirate. It's got Brown, Pollard, and Dowdle. It's got Goff and Laporta, who is a low advance rate kind of sneaky piece. It's got Geno and JSN. It's got Kupp. It's got Moore. It's got Worthy. It's got Keon Coleman. Greg Dulcich, baby. This one I think is a potential cook.
I have so much Greg Dulcich.
Yeah. Feels kind of fucked up, doesn't it?
Not really. It was like decent process. Didn't work, but hold on. I'm DMing myself my high stakes teams.
Wow, we got a mega super chat.
Wow.
I think we gotta hook this fella up.
Appreciate you, Common Sense. He says, prayers for the great season. Best ball show by far. Could you review Common Sense 23, please? Go over some of my top teams, any mistakes or things I could improve on for next season. Would you prefer one of the top teams or one of my two Nico teams? Cheers, guys. Yes, we will pull that up in one moment, my friend. So thank you so much for the super chat.
I've got it up right now.
Okay.
I think this team is bad, but you have Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, so it probably doesn't matter. And you have
he super chatted me, so we're not going to have your negativity pulling down Common Sense 23. Or did he super chat you? I can't tell.
I have no way of telling.
Common Sense. Your top team is awesome. Let me see. It's got Love. Okay. No, this team 3 running backs in the running. Saquon and Derrick Henry. I mean, dude, Derrick Henry against the Giants is a big inflection point for the playoffs. What does he do? Does he score 30? Does he score 10? Important. Chase and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper coming off 14 targets. Christian Watson. Man, Christian Watson should definitely have a couple more points this season, like 40 more points, but is what it is. He's a nice piece to have. You got Wick stacked as well. You definitely want Ladd to remain out because Josh Palmer is the de facto Chargers 1 without him. Jerry Jeudy, a very nice piece to have. Kind of crazy, dude. Jerry Jeudy went after Josh Palmer in drafts and Ontavian Wicks. Isn't that just doesn't feel right now?
I know.
Darius Slayton is a big hit. My advice to you would be not to draft 4 tight end rooms like this in the future. Common Sense. However, with Kincaid maybe not playing, it's kind of nice that you have Hawkinson and Gesicki, who almost led the team in points, and Musgrave being a 0. So that one, it's got it's a little thin at wideout. It needs to run pure with the. Really, you just need Love to go off, right? You need Love to be your savior for this team. But it's got some zeros. Let's look at another top team here. It's got Herbert and Rodgers. Could be worse. 4 solid running backs, especially if Bucky remains out. Rashad White is a smash. Brees Hall, though, may be getting shut down. What's your vibe on Hollywood? Does he return soon or not?
Yeah. I think he probably will.
Like week 17 or later?
No, I think he'll be active week 16.
That could be big for our team too, Davis. We have
I just I am not able to provide good feedback on this because I just revolt against Hollywood Brown and Jordan Addison as wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2, but that's clearly a strategy that worked this year. So,
well,
what can I say?
This is the perfect example of a team with a bunch of random guys. However, they're all spike week eligible, right?
Sure.
Addison, Palmer, Judy, Darnell Mooney, really nice. Bateman, yep. Andre Yoshivas, Quentin Johnson, Darius Slayton, and Lazard. And like what really is nice about this team is you actually hit on Slayton and Lazard versus having like Luke McCaffrey and Khalif Raymond, like some of my teams, right? Like, because those guys are both, like they're not the best players in the world, but they've scored touchdowns this year. And then Kelsey and Kittle is a pretty nutted tight. This team's pretty good. Like it's like kind of weird, but it's a classic hyper fragile. We'll look at one more team and then one of your Nico teams, and then pivot to our high stakes teams. Lamar Mayfield, pretty nutted combo. Derrick Henry, Kamara, Swift. Those 3 are nice. Chubb, not as nice, but you never know. Keaton Mitchell, possibly he plays more off the bye. Chase and Evans is a nice duo. Christian Watson. Yeah, like not many zeros on this team. DJ Chark even caught a catch last week. He's probably zero-ish, but you never know. And then Kincaid and Schultz definitely need Kincaid to return. And then Nico is a guy who you could definitely see being the guy you have to have. Josh Allen and Stroud, that's a fun duo right there.
I got a couple of those, weirdly.
In BBM?
Not advancing, I just remember drafting a couple of them. Oh. This team, I mean,
this team's nice. Cook, Mixon, Brian Robinson Jr. These guys, right? Like you're just hoping, but 3 good ones. Chase and Nico. Dude, you must be the number 1 Josh Palmer fan out there. Myers, Judy. Judy's very nice. QJ. Yeah, he's in there. Mike Williams even running routes. And then Kincaid, Conklin, and Knox. You got the double bills. So you're covered. Conklin, bring back. I like that one. I also like Dak Purdy Cousins. Loaded running back room. Especially like Warren's like pretty solid to have. Especially with them having like
Jalen Warren sucks.
He's hit like 10 PPR points like 5 weeks in a row. So he's like a nice floor RB2 if you need. Amon-Ra, Nico, Zay, Wicks, Downs, those guys are all nice. This bit thinner on the back end. Jonnu, you're really your sole tight end. Too many quarterbacks on this one probably, but it worked out because Dak got out for the year. Nice teams, common sense. Jay Chang wants us to look at one too before we look at my high stakes. JM Sun 71. Let's see. This one was drafted in May. Davis, what do you think about it?
God, you were really hoping Guerendo plays this week. But he's got the Jefferson, Nico, Neighbors. I mean, it's probably just not deep enough. Like you have such a hyper specific path. Yeah, Kincaid's back.
Let's go.
Keon's back as well.
Keon's been in red no contact, but I think he plays. Jones, Brian Robinson. Worst. I mean, guys at Guerendo, dude. This team's nice. Jefferson, and this isn't like everyone. There's a lot of people out there like, why would I draft in May? Why would I draft in June? Isaac Guerendo was not drafted in August, barely at all, right? So if he's the guy you need, a win for early drafting. Jefferson and Nico, that's a nice duo, and Neighbors. Very deep wide receiver room here. Andrews and Hawkinson. Bryce Young. Dude, Bryce Young is like the people hating on Caleb. Look at Bryce Young's career arc. People
Oh
are
yeah.
celebrating him right now.
No. So
Like, come
true.
on. Lamb, Nico, that's nice. Smith, Bryant. Deep wide receiver rooms. I like your chances because of how deep you are at wide receiver. Running back is a very rough one for this one. I like your other team better. Okay, last one for now. Check my top 150 team. Oh, no, just your top team. I thought you were making a joke. Ramses.
Ramses, bro. Come on.
Ramses. Dude, 118 overall. Very nice. Before we look at this, Davis, did you see that there are teams? The unluckiest team, I think, scored 1850 and didn't make it.
Didn't advance.
How tilted would you be?
Honestly, I wouldn't be that tilted. My tilt has left me, bro. I'm done. I'm done tilting. So he's
Rodgers and
down to
Nick.
Rodgers and Knicks. He's got Sutton with Knicks. He's got only well, he only had Mike Williams with Rodgers. Chase. Oh, he's got Braylon with him as well. He's got Njoku.
Nice running back room. Nice tight end room. Deep at wideout. I think it's a good team.
Wideout. Yeah. Yeah. I think I like that team. That is pretty good.
I pulled up. I'll show you guys two of my high stakes teams. I just pulled the two Josh Allen teams I'm advancing in the 5-5-5. Ooh, we're getting some thunder here. One was the first one I drafted. Sorry, guys, I'm failing here. Let me open the image.
Who are we looking up?
I'm showing my high stakes teams.
Oh, what, the DraftKings 5-5-5?
Yeah, these are in the. This is the first one I drafted in the 5-5-5. Started with Gibbs and AJ Brown from the 12 hole. It's got Rashad White and Mixon, so it's 3 deep at running back, especially if Bucky is like labored. Pretty deep at wideout too. It's got AJ Brown, Metcalf, Brian Thomas Jr. back when he was cheaper, Jerry Jeudy, Khalil Shakir, and then like whatever Lockett, McMillan, and Polk can give me. Not hopeful, but you know.
What Bills pass catcher do you most want to have in the playoffs? Is it Shakir?
Shakir and Kincaid, I would say, but yeah, I mean, they spread the ball around, but like Shakir, yeah, like I always thought it was silly Amari Cooper was going ahead in playoff drafts. Cooper's nice too, you know, if he's gonna be. He's just so like some of the throws to him, I was like threading the needle, you know.
Right.
Tight end room of Freiermuth, Juwan Johnson, Jonnu Smith, nuts, and then Greg Dulcich for the vibes. It's also got Drake May as the other quarterback. So Josh and Drake, a fun combo, kind of like your Josh and Bo Nix team. I like this team a lot. First team drafted back in like May, probably my best one. The other Josh Allen team is, this one was drafted in late August. It's a solo Josh, which is a callback to the winning BBM2 team by me because Deshaun Watson's the other quarterback. It's got Achane and Bijan with James Cook, Trey Benson, Ray Davis. So super stacked the Bills running backs here. Brandon Ayuk, had to have some Ayuk in there. But Rome Odunze, Reed, Addison, Jerry Jeudy, Khalil Shakir, and Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas Jr. I have a lot riding on. Jonnu Smith at tight end, and Conklin, you never know. And then some more random guys like Yoshi Voss. Matt Collins, dude. Matt Collins has some games this year. You know, let's win the 5-5-5 off of Matt Collins. Trey Benson. So yeah,
Matt Collins, man, good pick, Liam. Unironic, good pick.
20th round pick, Matt Collins. So yeah, these are two of my 5-5-5 teams. Advance rates this year, I think, are 2 out of 10 make the next round. Then it's like 1 out of 6 or something like that. So yeah, I got in 20 teams this year. I got in 19 the year I won BBM2. I got in, I think, 30 last year. Just how it's going to go. Things were a little bit worse for me on DraftKings, but whatever. Davis, you pulled in 11 at the end.
Yeah. So bad, man. I just played bad. I played bad. I played bad and I
You played
ran bad.
risky. Like
No, I
like
played bad though. Like you could play risky and get there, and you can also run bad. I mean, to be clear, I did also run bad, but I also played bad. And when you play bad, you do not leave yourself any margin for error to run poorly.
well, what's an example of you think you played bad? Because I think I played bad in some ways too. I played good in some ways as well.
Keep continuing to select Hollywood Brown after he was already injured. The Bears stuff.
Windmilling Debo, I would say, was pretty risky.
No, I
He's
have
a
no
second round pick. If you're gonna win, like me windmilling Ayuk, it was risky. I still think he would have smashed if he didn't get hurt.
That's risky. That's not bad. There was no
Debo
evidence.
was risky and bad though, right? Like,
No, I disagree. There's no element of perceived risk in his profile. Like Debo has never had a stretch.
28 didn't have good open score.
Well, that stuff I don't care about.
No, fair. Like I didn't think this was in his range of outcomes.
Chasing Wicks up the board and not balancing it with Dobbs. And I don't even know how many points Dobbs has scored, but I think
Dobbs
that
is
is
garbage. Like that was kind of a win, I think.
But I'm not talking about the results though. I'm talking about in terms of like, would I do it differently? And like, so I think about this with a lot of battle royale stuff and then applying that backwards. So like, just for example, this week, Barkley
But Dobbs in particular was like a profile a lot of people didn't like because he was not like he's not a guy who wins by
just not very good.
Yeah, and like so yes, I think you should still balance guys who are maybe not very good because they can catch touchdowns. But we knew that he was kind of a byproduct of just like love threading in balls to him in the red zone.
Watson too.
Yeah, he's the bigger fade that I think is not great just because it's like he's like what you wanted Wicks to be, but he's not even been a hit, Some examples of bad play for me, I would say is letting bias from last year cloud opinions. Examples being me having like Tank Bigsby being the highest drafted player I had last year, and then him doing poorly last year and being bad, and then me doing like this la 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 when I hear Doug Peterson being like, we love Tank, like again and again and again. I'm like, no, I don't care, you're garbage, right? Like,
yeah.
And now I got lucky that the Jags are like so bad now that it doesn't even really matter. But like, and there's more examples than just Tank. Like Jameson Williams was one of my highest drafted guys, and I was like, fine, it's not happening. Well, maybe you shouldn't give up on talented guys. Whoa, dude, this is a big one.
For
like
me, it's not.
Yes, Davis, he's on our team.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Did we advance any of the teams we drafted together on yours?
Let's look. Best ball NFL BBM. I think we did, Liam.
Yes. Yeah, we got one together. Which one?
Yeah, here. Let me share my screen.
Hey, that's huge, dude. We're both
we advanced a Jordan Love, Joe Burrow, A-Chain Cook, Dowdle, Ray Davis, Gibson, Chase, Olave, Reed, Watson, Coleman, Mooney. So we advanced because of Mooney and Chase. Yoshi, Corley, Trey Tucker, Goddard, Musker. So we're dead.
This team is honestly, if it had a tight end, it's sick, I think.
Yeah, we're dead.
We're not dead. You just need tight end not to matter.
Well, tight end will probably matter in a 16-person stack or whatever.
Other examples of poor play would be getting a little lost in the sauce and not checking in with myself in regards to, there were some guys I really liked when I was drafting in May, such as Chase Brown, Brian Robinson Jr., Adam Thielen, and then thinking I had a lot of these guys, right? And not staying on top of like checking my exposures. And then they got more expensive, right? Or Chuba Hubbard too. Like all my Chuba teams are from early in the contest and like, like May. And why is that? Like literally all of them. May, April, June, one in August. And why was I drafting him in May? Well, because he was going as a where is he here? I guess I gotta find my name. He was going as a 15th round pick. And in August, you had to typically spend way more draft capital than that to get him, such as I got him in the 15th again, but like he was going around the 11th and 12th for most of the August drafts. And so I'm a little bit price anchored, being like, well, I don't want to be drafting Chuba in the 11th when I got him in the 15th. But the truth is, like, we're, almost no one out there is going to advance more than like 50 teams anyways. Right. And so it's like, if you
trust
like
me,
guy,
if Patrick Mahomes didn't gun Rashee Rice down in the street, you would have been more than happy to have your 3rd round Rashee Rice team.
That one's a little bit more complicated just because of how cheap he was to how expensive he went. But going from a 15th round pick to an 11th round pick, like to me, feels bad because I'm like, why would I spend more? But it's not a big deal because you can just get different guys. It's like 15th versus 11th round. Who cares? Going from a 10th round to a 3rd round, I do care a little bit. I still will care, but no, I agree with you. You'd still probably want him as a smash, but I think a better example was Chase Brown, where a lot of I was like, okay, I packed my bags on Chase Brown. And yes, it is somewhat being responsible to be like, okay, because like Chase Brown, I think I had like 35% drafted through June, right? But then Chase Brown went from like a 13th round pick to a like 8th round pick or whatever he went at, 9, 10 or something like that. And so I was like, okay, fine. Like I made my bags. Let's get different guys. And some of that's being responsible in the sense that's like, it's okay to let guys graduate on and be like, I already packed my bags on them. But it's also a reminder that like often guys rise for a reason in drafts.
The risers generally don't rise enough. I mean, let me tell you, I sure wish I would have just kept full steam ahead on Chase Brown instead of looking at Zach Moss on any of these teams.
Yeah, right. Like I took Zach Moss in the 8th year and Chase Brown in the 11th, right? And then later I was like, well, I don't really want to take Chase Brown in the 8th. And it ties in with another lesson, which is when you're going to build a lot of team 0 RB, you should know it's risky, which I did. And what you shouldn't do is, especially in like the 13th round and after, you should really try to vary your targets because it is a quality game to me, not a quantity game, where if you get that one magic team that goes Chase, Rico, Chuba, Bucky, Tyron Tracy, maybe Braylon Allen, like whoever, right? Like that is worth it. That is worth burning 10 teams to me if that team can like win the contest versus always taking Jalen Wright, always taking Ty Chandler, always taking Marshawn Lloyd, right? Like, yeah, it feels great when those guys are hits, but it opens you up to downside. So it's complicated, and like, yeah, like obviously Tyreek Saquon. It's like, I don't know. Obviously, you feel great if you just like were windmilling Bucky, and you'd be like, why would I vary? Like and like maybe that was the wrong lesson for me last year, where Kyron Williams was one of my highest drafted players. So maybe I got like a little overconfident, being like, I can identify the guys you need.
Yeah, you know the league winners. So why would you not just take the league winner?
Yeah, I'm right. Like, why would I'm not taking Trey Sermon or Tank Bigsby, right? Like I know who to take. And it's like, look, sometimes Kyron Williams is Deontay Foreman, or CEH. So I don't know. It's a very complicated, and like people, whatever the results are these next couple of weeks, people are going to have different takeaways. It's going to be very results oriented. And my advice to anyone out there is like, take a step back. Like, yeah, like I agree. I think Moss was good process in the sense that like, even in this outcome where Chase Brown is awesome, I think Moss would have provided 10 points here, 10 points there, which is fine, right?
Yeah, but that's not how you win, brother.
That gets you advancing sometimes. That gets you through a playoff week sometimes versus eating a 0 from him, right? Like, and again, Chase Brown could have broke his leg, right? Like that could have happened instead, in which case you're like, yes, I have all this moss, right? And I'm happy. Like that would be an example of good play by me. I took Chase on 23 teams. I took Moss on like 30 teams or something. So I knew I wanted the Bengals running back, which was a correct identification of like an undervalued resource. Or like, like there's examples of good play. I took Rico 27 times and Zeke, like 5 times. So like I was right there. But like Ford, if I could trade all my like Jerome Ford, I was kind of right on, and it doesn't matter in the sense that I was right where it's like
I'm not giving you that one. I'm not giving you right on Jerome Ford. He plays all the time and doesn't do anything.
that was the point. The point was that I was like, okay, I think Nick Chubb's health is like seriously could be a question, which it still seems like that. And I don't think Ford is going to stop playing. I think he could be like the Ty Chandler. And I drafted him in like the 13th round. And yeah, I was right about that, but he's either not good enough of a player or I think Jameis is a really bad fit for him and the Browns are a disaster on offense. But if Ford was Chuba, right? Like, yeah, like someone was like, you probably get 10 extra teams if you have Chuba instead of Ford. And yeah, I do, right? Because I have like a lot of teams that have like Trey Benson, like though that's not doing it. And then I think another lesson for everyone is like that when zero running back is like every year's a new year, and you can't just like zero running back smashed, and people are like, of course it's going to smash again. And there
What's
is zero
smashing
running
right
backs that
now?
work.
Zero running back is smashing at this very minute right now.
Yes, there are good zero running back teams, no doubt. But there's also good Saquon anchor teams. There's also good Derrick Henry anchor teams.
I would rather have a Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Bucky Irving. I
agree with you with a strong wide receiver room.
Yeah,
but I also would like a team that goes Saquon, and then my second running back is Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle. Like those are also very good teams.
Sure. I got to get out of here to go do this cast here in a sec. Let's do our pick'em entry. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And I agree with Marvin Moms here too, where like someone's out there is gonna draft like 50% Saquon this year, think they're a genius, and like try to 10x their action. And it's a big like I advanced 50 teams in the DraftKings Millie Maker last year. I'm advancing like 15 this year, right? So it's like, was I awesome last year and terrible this year? No, right? But this is a really chaotic variant game. So keep your how much you put down in check, in my opinion, and don't like set your bankroll set, and don't be like led astray by your results this year unless you win a contest and have a lot of expendable income as far as like what you get down next year. Thank you for the super chat, Marvin Moms.
So funny.
I guess I can show underdog. No, I can't get them to go in.
It's my screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Liam, give us a bill.
Josh Allen, baby,
Oh, they only have yards.
Let's do Shakir then. Higher.
All right. I will give us a Chief. Can I take a Kareem Hunt lower? Do they have them up yet? Yep. Kareem Hunt lower, not score a touchdown.
That's insane because he played like 10 snaps last week. So like
it should be like, yeah.
So many of my DK Millie Maker teams have like Sion Vaki and Carson Steele on them. So if those guys can be something.
Yeah.
Give me. Let's look at the Tampa game.
They're not going to have very much because Bucky is questionable, I think. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Look, they have a bunch of the stuff up.
Scroll down. No, I don't like it. I don't want to do that. We can short. Christopher, Super Chat, and Davis. Appreciate you, Christopher.
Good man, Christopher. He's in the Discord. He's a good guy.
Let me Let me pull up underdogs so I can do this a little bit better.
I would like to short Gus Edwards
Jameer
to
Gibbs.
score a
What's he?
touchdown. Can we short Gus Edwards to score a touchdown?
Well, you're going twice, but that can be yours.
Okay. No, I hear. I don't want to snake you. Go ahead.
What's the Bills Detroit one? Let's look at that. I
Bills.
want to do Gibbs.
Someone must be. It's because all their guys. It's because Keon and Kincaid are questionable.
Gibbs higher.
Gibbs higher rushing yards. Got no issue.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It was your turn. You went Hunt. Oh no, I went Shakir. You went Hunt. I went Gibbs. Now it's you. Now Gus.
All right, yeah, I'm taking Gus Edwards not to score a touchdown. I think after losing that game and Gus Edwards playing so bad, I think we are going to see more Vidal. I mean, Vidal played more snaps anyway, but I think the Gus Edwards experience is going to remain the Gus Edwards experience.
I don't agree. I think he is a decent shot to score a touchdown this
week.
All right,
we're taking it out.
No, I'm okay.
Hey,
I'm okay. You don't agree with everything I do.
We're taking Mike Evans to score a touchdown instead.
I like that. And also his yards is a good bet because
his yards is a good bet.
They're going to try to get him that record, you know?
Correct. All right, we've got 4.
Let's go with what is the fantasy points here? They're not showing that. Let's go Drake May. Drake May
sold already.
Rushing touchdown.
Drake May rushing touchdown.
You okay with that?
Why don't we just do
it's a 2x multiplier?
That is terrible odds.
All right, fine. 13.5 longest rush higher.
There you go. That is much better. Okay, Chicago, Minnesota. What do they got my boy at? 81 yards. Disrespectful to my boy. Come on, dude. 81.5 yards.
How did they do in their last game they played? Didn't they just bracket coverage Jefferson? Not saying that matters, but
probably. I'm sure they did. Someone in the chat said Brian Robinson touchdown. That is probably
Jefferson had 27 yards last time he played Chicago. Brian Robinson Jr. touchdown, absolutely, yes.
They don't have it because it's too much.
But I'll take the higher on 71.5 rushing yards.
I hate it, but we're doing it.
I also like the higher on Kamara too.
Here's my my gold star mega lock of the week. Rico Dowdle to score rushing touchdown against Carolina. Absolutely.
I want Puka higher 88.5 receiving yards.
That's 8, brother. We did it. That's 8.
Ooh. Do I have a I kind of like the Puka one. Should I remove one of mine for Puka?
Yeah, do whatever you want. You want to remove one of yours?
You
want to remove Jameer Gibbs rushing yards?
Yeah, let's swap that for Puka.
What are we doing on Puka Thursday night?
Higher 88.5.
Teasing him up to 100.
Okay.
Post
that so I can tail.
Done. Posted. Got it. Put that in the YouTube chat. Put that in the YouTube description. Liam, hope Justin Rao turns up.
Dude, DM that to me. Yes. Dude, Davis, good luck at week 15. Good luck to me. Good luck to you. Good luck to everyone out there. Guys, we appreciate you watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I just hit 6K subscribers. I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you.
Shout out to you, Liam.
Yeah, big moment on the channel. Guys, someone watching this video right now is winning Best Ball Mania. I just know that.
I mean, the likelihood is probably just because of if you advance teams in Best Ball Mania, you are likely to be watching this video at some point, if you think about it.
I mean, not mathematically, right? Like there's a lot of teams out there, but a lot
of viewers of the video.
Yeah. 460 watching right now. All right, guys. I'll be back with the video tomorrow, or actually maybe Friday after the Thursday night game, checking in. Hopefully we all have a bunch of sweats week 16. Week 15 is a huge week, you know? Some of us could get blanked. You could have no teams in the semifinals. That is perfectly in the range of outcomes. Some of us could advance 10 of our 20 teams into week 16. It is just the craziness of how it goes. So good luck to everybody. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, and we will see you next week.